On the first glance, it's something what you consider not as a big deal, but it appears to be very important. Why? On the previous week, I've been working on the game narrative. Game narrative is a story tale which makes player want to know the story, which makes the player want to progress in the game and see what's coming up and what's going to be next. Anyways, it's like a book. You're always interested if it's a good book. You're always interested in what's gonna be in the next chapter. Another thing which pushes player to progress in the game is game upgrades. If you are a player type like a killer or achiever or explorer, you want to know what you can have new in the game. So if we are thinking about arcade game with airplanes, you want to know how your airplane will evolve. And basically the evolvement of your airplane or your gunship, battleship, whatever it could be, is your reward. So you want to play to know how it's gonna shoot from all its guns, or maybe shoot missiles, or in my case it's gonna be laser guns or plasma guns. So player is interesting to know what's gonna be next, and it was something I've been working on these past 2 weeks. What's a big deal? Big deal is to make upgrades achievable but difficult to achieve. So it should be something what should be rewarding for a player and something what shouldn't be stopping the player, and vice versa. Upgrades shouldn't be way too much powerful to destroy the game, because if you are way overpowered, then the game is not interesting for you. So you have to keep the balance, and to build such a balance you have to have reliable configuration of your game economy. You have to have reliable tool set to bend the dependency between upgrades and their cost in your favor and be very flexible in changing of it. So today I will tell you about my research and implementation in Unity and how it's gonna be use it in Unity and tune it up later on. The best approach of the designing the game economy or the upgrades economy is to do the reverse of engineering of the existing game. That's exactly what I have done. So I have opened it and upgraded my aircraft, my spaceship in the game through a couple stages and recorded all the upgrades, power-ups and costs, how much it took from me in the game. So this graph, it represents the dynamics of the power-ups. So it's pretty much linear. With each level you are getting pretty much the same amount of power-up upgrades. This column is a cost growth with each level. So these numbers list is represented by this graph. As you can see, the progression is not linear. It's something what you can call exponential, but it's not exponential. And obvious thing to do is to interpolate this line of numbers, list of numbers, into some function. And to interpolate the list of numbers, I have used ChatGPT. To be honest, it took a while for me to understand the structure of the price progression function. I have forgotten everything from my university, so it was a bit of struggle. First of all, I went bluntly to the very simple approximation using the exponential progression, but exponential progression rising way too fast. So in some point I came to understanding that it's not an exponential function, it's polynomial function. You can remember this from calculating the differentials or integrals in your university or high school, and it worked brilliantly for me. So what I have done, I just set the numbers list, which I took from other game, and ChatGPT just created the list of coefficients for the polynomial function, and the score is amazing. R2 score is a cubic difference between the value which is given by formula and the actual value which I've gave to chat using the numbers. So by the end I was extremely happy having this formula, even more with formula of calculating, with having the function of calculating the numbers. I can bend progression of this function in whatever growth rate I can expect. And for instance, one plane can have one growth dynamic for the price of upgrades, and another plane can be much more expensive. And having this formula, it's very handy to do. So one thing left is to provide the way to represent the formulas and upgrades rates in Unity. In Unity, I'm trying to keep all the game configuration as a set of the scriptable objects. So I have scriptable objects for the level configurations, I have scriptable objects for ads configurations, for game data. So from now on, I have a scriptable object which holds the configuration for the airplanes, aircrafts, and for each airplane it has name, type, main power, additional power, the coefficients of the price growth function. So each plane, each aircraft will have the same. And I have the list of stages. Each stage gives its own type of upgrade. Each stage has its own price, and each stage gives some different power-ups for the plane. So I have the power-up type of the stage. It can be skill, power increase, it can be additional gun, it can be fire rate, skill duration, or skill cooldown. From the point of view of the power increase type, it can be side guns, it can be side heavy guns, it can be laser blast, plasma blast, homing missiles, and other kind of missiles. So the thing is, the configuration is very modular, and you can have lots of things, and it's gonna be extremely difficult to keep everything in code. So I'm using scriptable objects to keep this configuration, and from the scriptable object I can easily change it and test again. To know more about scriptable objects, you can just search on YouTube about scriptable objects. There are a ton of useful information, but I can create another video about scriptable objects. Just share in the comments if you want to know more about Unity and coding in Unity. Alright, so now I have the basic three pillars of the game. I have the very basic game engine, I have narrative, I have upgrade system. So now I can work on the content. There are two more main parts of a game. It's onboarding and game retention rewards. Those two, I will be working on them at the very end of the game, at the very end of the development. because it's almost the final stage of the MVP. See you in the next episode. Hopefully I will prepare something very interesting to you in 2 weeks. Bye. Ну, очень хорошо.